Hello, my name is Pam Keith, and I am going to be your instructor for Hillman Talk University's Federal Campaigns 101 class. This is also going to be on TikTok University, on YouTube at Pam Keith FL, and obviously you found me here on TikTok. And I'm extremely pleased to also put this content on Nubia. The point of this particular 13-week course is to walk you through step by step how to run a campaign for public office. Now, this course focuses mostly on federal office because, well, that's what I know. I've run for federal office 3 times, and believe me, I've learned a lot in that process. But the principles in this class are going to help you to run a campaign for any office, be it local or municipal, be it at the state level or at the federal level, even if the content in this particular course is about you running for U.S. Congress and running for the Senate. There are a few things that are really, really important here. First of all, this course is for Democrats and progressive-leaning independents. This is not a course for Republicans. For a couple reasons. First of all, I don't know anything about how Republicans do things. And second of all, I don't want Republicans running for office. So this is not for you. This is for Democrats and progressive-leaning independents. The other thing that you need to know about this course is it is a hands-on course. You will have assignments every week that I will post on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Eastern that will literally walk you through the process, the thoughts, the strategies, the thinking, and the technical aspects of putting together a campaign. These are things that I learned the hard way by doing it wrong. And trust and believe you're going to learn a lot more from what you do wrong than what you do right. And there is a lot of naivete or just ignorance or lack of knowledge on how campaigns actually function. So this course for the next 13 weeks is going to walk you through step by step what to think about, what to do, and how to do it, and why it's important to think of certain things in the process at a certain time so you don't trip yourself up going forward. So I hope you enjoy this content. I hope it's helpful for you, and I hope you stick around for the full 13 weeks. At the end, you will be prepared to run for office, or you may be able to help someone else run for office. So let's get started. The first thing I want you to understand is that politics is a team sport. And I put this up on the board here so you can see it. Politics is a team sport. Now, most people are confused as to what that actually means. Politics is not a team sport in the sense that it's you and your voters as a team, or even you as your staffers as a team. Those are teams in politics, but that's not what I mean. What I mean is that in American politics, you have to have a team behind you to be successful. And that is why we have this binary politics in America, either Democrat or Republican, because the machinery involved with that is the machinery that moves large numbers of votes. Right? You and yourself, your own efforts can move a group of people, but for congressional races and senatorial races, you're talking about hundreds of thousands of votes. And to be able to move that kind of vote, you really need a team behind you or affiliation with a team that moves that degree of votes. So, is it a bad idea to run as an independent or non-party? You want the truth? Yes, it's a bad idea if your hope is to win, because very few independents and non-parties candidates win at the federal level. I mean, right now we have Angus King from Maine, sort of Bernie Sanders from Vermont, although he's more of a Democrat than an independent. You got kind of Lisa Murkowski from Alaska, who is more of a Republican than an independent. And that's pretty much it. You haven't had an independent, a true independent, succeed in the House or the Senate in a long time. And the reason is because of the binariness of our politics. But if you want to run as an independent, if you want to run as a non-party candidate, okay, these principles are still going to apply to you. But there are other things that are going to play because you're not going to be in a primary in most cases and so on. So, I'll point out the differences throughout the course when they come up. The point of this course, and what I'm going to talk to you about today, is I'm going to be 100% real with you. I'm going to tell you the absolute scoop and inside skinny on how to interface with the Democratic Party as a candidate. These are things that I absolutely did not know, right? I assumed that because I was a lifelong Democratic voting person, that the Democratic Party would just love me. I mean, look at me, why not? But that's not how it works. The Democratic Party engages with candidates based on a system of kind of how important you are to their interests. So there are things that people just don't know about how the Democratic Party functions. I'm going to start with that. The first thing you need to know is that there is a part of the party that deals with congressional races. There's a part of the party that deals with senatorial races. There's a part of the party that deals with gubernatorial races and so forth. And these different parts are not necessarily integrated. It's important that you know that. The part of the party that deals with federal races are not that integrated with the part of the party that deals with state races. There's some coordination, especially as you get up to election day, but at the beginning and certainly when candidates are presenting themselves, these things are not integrated. The other thing you need to know is that these different entities, which I'm going to cover here in a moment, do not have you winning your race as their priority. Just so you understand. So I'm going to put it on the board for you. At the top, we have the Democratic National Committee, the DNC. Most of us know what the DNC is. We went to the DNC convention. We've seen the DNC before. But the DNC, the Democratic National Committee, has principally one purpose, which is to run the presidential race. It is a presidential purpose. It runs the presidential primaries, the debates, the convention, the nominating convention, and it raises money for the presidential, which takes hundreds of millions of dollars. That is the role of the DNC. That is what Jamie Harrison's job principally was to run the system or the mechanism to get either Biden or Kamala Harris through the presidential race. Underneath the DNC, you have two different entities. You have the DCCC and the DSCC. These two entities are the ones that deal with congressional and senatorial races. The Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee and the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee. Those committees are made up of current members in Congress or current members in the Senate. So it should not surprise you that their principal purpose is to get those people who are there reelected. That is their priority number one. And to pick up seats wherever they can. That is priority number two. But priority number one is to preserve the seats that are already there. So let's go back to what I started with. Politics is a team sport. And in a federal campaign, you are seeking to join one of these two teams. So if in order for you to join one of these two teams, you have to kick someone off of one of these two teams, understand that that is going to be the first obstacle you're going to have to ponder, contemplate, and get around. So this is part one of lesson one for this course called Running a Federal Campaign. Stay tuned for part two.